Okay, so the Wing Chun system is not highly regarded or highly known for its kicking. In fact, many people don't even know that we kick in Wing Chun, and a lot of people come to the Wing Chun style because they've heard that it's a great style with hands and there's very little kicking involved. But the truth be known is there is actually quite a bit of kicking in Wing Chun, and it's actually quite an effective method of kicking. We have a front kick, a side kick, and we have variations of those. In fact, there are actually 8 kicks in the wooden dummy system throughout the whole Wing Chun style, so I think it can be taken for granted that we do kick. So what I'm going to talk about today is how we kick, how we apply those kicks, and most importantly, how we do it in much more of a combative scenario. So in other words, dealing with jabs, crosses, looking at maybe dealing with a boxing type scenario, not necessarily fighting boxers, but it could be using it in a type of context of, say, MMA, kickboxing, or sandal, which is what we do a lot of here at the London Wing Chun Academy. So one of the things we prefer to do is to use the kicks as interceptions rather than to block and kick. If you try to block and then kick, the guy's going to punch and move away, he's going to be gone. So it's far better to use the length of your legs as an interception when someone punches. So when the guy punches, you use an interception with your legs because they're naturally much longer than someone's arm. So if someone extends his arm, my legs are obviously a natural length to cope with his distance of his arms. Obviously, because they're a longer limb. So in that sense, we try to intercept with our kicks rather than blocking. That's the first point. The second point is what do you do with your hands, and also how do you deliver the kick in a smooth way that you can intercept. And this is where the concept of offline, and I refer to this as the offline concept, allows you to deliver it. And what that means is you have to take your head offline. And the reason why you have to take your head offline is when you move here, wallop, and you move here, wallop, it allows you, as your head moves, to move your feet. So as my head moves, it allows me to move my feet. Now as my feet move, it allows me to deliver a kick. So I can move one kick, I can move one kick, I can move one, and as I move, it allows me, boom, to lift the leg and deliver the kick. So that's an essential part of that. The other part of the ability to intercept quickly with your kicks is the fact that you don't keep your munsao in a fixed position. If you keep your munsao in a fixed position and you hold it like this, what actually happens is it counterbalances the leg coming up. Albeit in Wing Chun, we never cock the leg back. We always prime the leg and kick the leg from where it lies. But if you keep your arm too far forward and overextended, you find you won't have the balance. So one of the things you want to do when a punch comes in is to relax the hand and drop it. So as you drop it, you allow the rear hand, which is the park, and if you refer back to our park dial video from our earlier series, you will see us using this short slapping shape and following up with a side punch. So it all relates to the same type of movement. And the key thing in this, that you're taking your head offline. So how do we use that against a jab? Well, quite simply, if I face up against my partner and I have my hands forward, and notice it's relaxed, it's not overextended. As the jab comes in, I can look at lifting my leg, okay, go, or stopping him. But either way, when he kicks, one, I want to go, bang, and stop, boom. Stop the jab from coming forward. So what I do is I tuck my head back slightly, I cover with the rear hand, I drop the munsao because it's no longer searching or seeking anymore. It's not seeking contact anymore or judging my distance. What it's doing is counterbalancing the fact that the head goes back. So that's the first point. The second point is that what it allows me to do, if I move off point, bang, if I move offline rather, is to move, wallop, and use the front leg as an interception. So by moving my head, boom, I can intercept with that. Now the good thing about using the front leg is that what it does is it allows me to go jab, and as he throws the cross, because I've gone here, here, it intercepts, sorry, go again, one, boom, the cross. Because as he tries to cross in, jab, cross, the offline allows the length of the leg to come into play. So that's the second point. And the third one, dealing with a haymaker, is when he goes 1, 2, and he comes in with an overhand. It's quite traditional in a lot of Wing Chun schools that when the guy goes, they do this sort of Kwan Sao type idea where they intercept, and then from here they try to counter, or they intercept and they try to kick. I generally don't agree with that, and the reason why I'll say that is obviously because you're facing the punch. I know I'm probably going to get shouted down for this, but from my experience and from my team's experience, who we do compete and we do fight quite regularly, is that we find that when the person punches, if you're going 1, 2 and throwing an overhand, you are far better off lifting your hands up and lifting and covering all the way through. So you're doing this lifting bong, throwing bong. If you think about the second form in Wing Chun, wallop, where you're lifting the leg and the bong at the same time to cover. So we tend to cover more and kick on the inside of wide looping haymakers, and that's how we tend to deliver and use our kicks in an effective way. Okay, so kicking's a huge topic, and to be frank with you, it's very difficult to do it over this short period of time. The whole point of these clips are to keep them under 5 minutes, and realistically we've actually spent a lot of time on this. So hopefully I've given you an insight into Wing Chun kicking. It can be effective, it can be used in a combat sense, it is very effective for self-defense, but most importantly it can be used when you've got someone who's jabbing, crossing, moving around. As I said, in MMA, in kickboxing, in boxing, there's a lot of versatility to the way that we kick, and the best thing to do is to practice it. So what I want you to do is refer back to some of our other videos. Some of them you'll see that we're training and introducing concepts of kicking, footwork, timing and movement. But it's all there on our channel. Follow through, subscribe, and if you've got any questions, leave a comment and we'll be only too happy to help.